Meditation 2 begins with Descartes returning to the radical doubts that he expressed in the previous meditation. He says that he's going to, and here we quote here, right, work my way up and once again attempt the same path that they had entered upon yesterday. He's going to accomplish this, he says, by putting aside everything that admits of the least doubt. Right? We're familiar with this from before. And in reviewing all these doubts, this happens as he's continuing, Descartes starts to really come into some despair. You can see that in this passage here, which is on the next page of the text. He writes, starting right here, "Is there not some God, or by whatever name I might call him, who instills these very thoughts in me? But why would I think that, since I myself could perhaps be the author of these thoughts?" Okay, so far, right, he doesn't know, he can't be sure that God exists. What else can I know? Am I not then at least something? But I have already denied that I have any senses in any body. Remember, this was from the doubt from last meditation, right? So you can't. You have to deny the senses. You have to deny the reality of the body, or at least doubt it, right? Am I so tied to a body and to the senses that I cannot exist without them? Right? But I've persuaded myself that there is absolutely nothing in the world, no sky, no earth, no minds, no bodies. Is it then the case that I too do not exist? So here's the question: how can I even be sure that I exist? And here Descartes realizes that so long as I'm a thinking thing, so long as I'm a thinking thing that's thinking something, or even if I am doubting that I exist, right, I have to exist. So long as I'm thinking, I must exist. So Descartes here concludes, right, thus, after everything having been most carefully weighed, it must finally be established that this pronouncement, I am, I exist, is necessarily true every time I utter it, right? And the evil genius can't prevent me from being certain about this, because even if the evil demon is putting in thoughts in my brain that are wrong, that are false, even if he's trying to deceive me, even in my having deceptive thoughts, I can be certain that I exist. So here's Descartes' bedrock. The only thing I can know for certain, despite the best efforts of the evil genius, is the fact that I exist. And this now raises the obvious question, which Descartes does in the following paragraph here, is to ask the question, who then, or what then am I? What is this I that I am? What am I? Okay, Descartes writes here, "Can I not affirm that I possess at least a small measure of all those things which I've already said belong to the nature of the body?" Okay, so he's going to focus his attention on them, think about them, review them. "Nothing comes to mind," he says. "I'm tired of repeating this to no purpose." And again, you guys by all fact might feel the same way. "But what about those things I ascribe to the soul? What about being nourished or moving about?" Notice again that this is all Aristotelian talk, right? So we're familiar with how the soul works in Aristotle and how the soul has the capacity to be nourished, to move around, and so on. Okay, well, the problem with that, about my being certain that I'm a thing that gets nourished or moves about, is that, right, since I think that I don't have a body, these other things that come with the body are fictions. What about sensing, he says. Surely this too does not take place without a body, and I seem to have sensed in my dreams many things that I later realized I did not sense. So far, right, what am I, right? I'm not a sensing thing, I'm not a moving thing, I'm not a nourishing thing. None of these things answer who am I. Now what about thinking here? Here he says I make my discovery. Thought exists. It alone cannot be separated from me. I am, I exist. This is certain. But for how long, he asks? Well, for as long as I'm thinking. For perhaps it could also come to pass that if I were to cease all thinking, I would then utterly cease to exist. And at this time I admit nothing that is necessarily true. I am therefore precisely nothing but a thinking thing, that is, a mind or intellect or understanding or reason, words of whose meaning I was previously ignorant. Right? Okay, so again, he's beating a dead horse here. Yet I am a true thing and am truly existing. But what kind of thing? Now we know, right? It's a thinking thing. So Descartes' conclusion is that what I am is a thinking thing. I am, as he says later, a thing that understands, affirms, denies, wills, refuses, and that also imagines and senses, so on. So to be a human, then, is to be first and foremost a certain kind of thinking thing. I'm not, say, first and foremost an animal or a political animal, as Aristotle would say. I'm first and foremost a thinker. And you can see how my being first and foremost a thinking thing suggests how Descartes will argue for the soul's independence from the body. Our soul gives the capacity gives us the capacity to be thinking things, and because we thinking things are not our bodies, our soul can therefore be separate from our bodies. When we're alive, Descartes thinks, our minds are linked up to a body, but when we die, our minds and our soul can leave the body.